Okay, so I recently saw an article online regarding Digimon Story Time Stranger and the fact that we don't have an official release date as of yet, at least other than the assumed to be a placeholder December 31st date that retailers have been using. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about whether or not this is a cause for concern and if Digimon may have missed a big opportunity with regards to its launch window in general. That being said, make sure to sit back, relax, subscribe for more monster taming videos, and let's dive in. Okay, so first things first, we have to get a little context here. Digimon Story Time Stranger is the latest installment in the Digimon Story series, which if you don't know is essentially Digimon's version of a turn-based RPG. We have had other games in recent times, such as Digimon Survive in 2022 and Digimon World Next Order, which did get a re-release in 2023. However, both of these titles are niche in their own mark, with the first being a visual novel tactical RPG hybrid, and the second being part of the Digimon World series, which is essentially Digimon's version of a monster-raising sim. A lot of people, including myself, have been putting quite a bit of stake in this upcoming Digimon Story title that we've known about for years at this point, ever since we've seen the boom of monster taming games that started in late 2019 and really hit its peak in 2024 with the release of Palworld. Now, since this time, we've seen tons of monster taming games, both indie and major studios, release and have relative success, when in previous years, the genre was sort of relegated to an extreme niche and was completely overshadowed by Pokemon. We've seen some franchises that had some success in the past make record numbers for their series, such as Dragon Quest Monsters, which had a new title in 2023, Monster Hunter Stories 2 completely eclipsing the original, even Monster Rancher made a comeback with a re-release of the first two games, and Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher. All in all, the last few years have been very conducive to monster taming success. Now, that being said, the reason that I think a lot of people are worried about Digimon Story Time Stranger and its potential release date is because of the fact that it might end up getting overshadowed by the release of Pokemon Legends ZA. Now, this isn't to say that one game is better than the other, but in terms of just raw numbers, the Pokemon franchise is vastly more popular than the Digimon franchise, especially when it comes to video games, because Digimon isn't a primarily video game based franchise and doesn't in and of itself expand from the video games at a core like Pokemon does. Now, while some people might argue that the games could target different audiences or that it might not be a big deal if the games release close to one another, there is going to be a lot of overlap with these two games, and I even do oftentimes warn developers in the genre to avoid releasing their games too close to one another, especially when it comes to major releases, because unfortunately, the first few days of a game's release tends to be the most crucial, and if people only have enough money or attention to buy one game, then the amount of people who might have bought your game during that fundamental period is greatly diminished. If Digimon Story Time Stranger or any other monster taming game wants to give itself the best chance at standing out and having a successful launch, then it's wise to stay away from the release of a Pokemon title or any other big title for that matter. Now, that being said, I wouldn't worry too much about this. I feel like the fact that we haven't got a set release date yet is likely a sign that the developers are just waiting to commit to a date and sort of wanting to see when Legends is coming out. It's very likely that the same concerns that some of the fans are having have already been addressed by the publisher/developers, so I wouldn't necessarily think we have too much to worry about with regards to these games releasing close to one another, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Digimon franchise is well aware of this potential issue and how important Digimon Story Time Stranger could be for the franchise. I had mentioned earlier that I wanted to talk about whether or not Digimon sort of missed its opportunity with releasing this game, because things were really heating up in the genre back in 2023 and 2024 especially, and I've said this many times in the past that I believe that Digimon is one of the few franchises that could actually rise up through the ranks and sort of sell games at a similar level to that of Pokemon if they play their cards right. This is because unlike a franchise such as Palworld, Digimon is embedded in nostalgia to a massive degree, especially in the West where a lot of people remember Digimon even if they didn't continue to follow it after the first two seasons of the anime. During the time in which people were really looking for Pokemon alternatives and the genre was buzzing at its most recent peak, this would have been a perfect time for Digimon to swoop in and essentially do a Pal World, but in a slightly different way, with perhaps it showcasing what a solid rival turn-based RPG to Pokemon could look like. Despite the genre being a lot slower this year in terms of major releases, however, I don't think that Digimon missed its opportunity, and I actually think this is a great time for them to really reach the masses and market their game more aggressively than they have been. People are looking for games to either replace or supplement their Pokemon fix, and I genuinely think that if Digimon Story Time Stranger is a solid title that is very welcoming to people that haven't played a Digimon game in the past, then we could see it hit major sales numbers and reach widespread appeal. Again, only time will tell, and I definitely don't think they're marketing nearly enough, but even if the game ends up selling like, let's say, 1 million copies, that's going to be a major win for the genre, and I do hope that you guys are as excited for this game as I am. That being said, if you are interested in monster taming content or a Digimon fan or whatever, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're closing in at that 100K mark, which again is absolutely nuts. I've been saying this a lot, but thank you guys so much for your support, and just wanted to say special thanks to our patrons and channel members, especially Candy Morency, Tragsoft, Coromon, Nemo, and Wrathful Beast, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.